Hey yo, what's going on guys? It's your boy. I'm just testing out some crazy chemicals today and I wanted to really just go through my documentation on my journaling and everything and have something that I can maybe a little video I can be proud of, right? But I am sick and everything. I'm like congested and suffering here. But like my nose barely got air through it. But anyway, so I'm trying. Listen here, we got ACD856, we got NSI-189, and when I go to my Gemini, you guys are gonna see what's going on. Um, right, I'm talking about this with Gemini. I don't know if you guys think that it's such a great idea to ask Gemini about like risky chemicals and stuff, but this is the reality of the situation. I just like to pull up quick facts and pointers using AI sometimes, just so you don't have to like repeatedly Google the same ideas and pointers and facts. So whatever, right? It's just to like pull up existing research and and kind of rehearse what I already know. Cause this isn't like stuff I'm learning from the AI. This is just stuff that I already know. I've already heard about the substance and I already can tell whether this is right or wrong. And but I would warn you guys, if you can't tell if something is right or wrong, then that can be a problem when you're asking AI for it because you don't know if they're see it says your instinct about blood flow is spot on. NSI don't normally cause vasoconstriction, do they? Right, and I already know this, right? And that's why I'm just confirming things. I'm just checking, double checking things with the AI. And that's sort of the purpose. It's not I'm not like relying on it for important information. So keep that distinction in mind. I don't think you should rely on it for information that you have no idea about, right? And you can see the conversation here. I was, and this is important because, I'm trying to sort out some little side effects I've been having, like little strange effects I've been having, just in general, not just with the ACD and NSI. Just, I came home from Panama, which is a whole story. I got off the plane and, and I'm feeling fine. And then I start to get sick the next day in bed and I can barely feel my fingertips and my toes. And I'm like, well, that's crazy. I've been running like 20 miles a week, I've been walking, running 20 miles a week. I have extremely good cardio, right? I've been going to the gym at the same time of doing a lot of cardio. It doesn't make any sense. I should have like blood flow up the wazoo, right? Basically going crazy, right? So it's just weird and trying to get to the bottom of it a little bit. I'm not worried about it. Just kind of investigating here and keeping a little log of it just to better understand everything and use these chemicals and compounds and excellent nutrients and drugs and whatever substances to grow the brain and have a great time. Basically, the idea is just to have a great time. We're not getting into like some complicated quantum physics here, right? It's just, if you guys are interested in NSI, ACD, like nootropic, like neurogenic brain growth compounds like me, then you'd probably love to hear about this stuff. And it's always better if you have someone like me where, you know, I'm not saying I'm special, but when you have someone journaling their experience versus just someone who says, oh, I'm going to use like 50 milligrams today and we'll see what happens. And doing it that way is fine, but I've done it that way for years. And you kind of just get lost in the experience and don't really learn much doing that. At least that's my experience. Um, you know, just on the whole topic of like taking any supplement or substance and not making some proper documentation and not logging it and keeping a few little notes about it at least. Right. So I hope I can stay up to date with it. I probably won't. I'll probably do like once a week or something at best, once a week, right? Make a video about like what's going on, what kind of chemicals I'm using. And so we're back at the starting visual here. I was just making a Word document and to start things off and, to journal my experience here, right? So numbness problem, I'm having numbness in fingers and toes. May just be from common cold, right? So not a big deal, but and I'm not better from the cold yet, but I feel like mostly better, and I would have thought that the numbness would go away now, but I'm gonna have to like pull back on the compounds and stuff like that. And I've been feeling really tired. I know I'm also taking, and it's not just these two, right? I'm taking a lot of stuff. So beware of that. Vilon, Epitalon, nasal spray both. Um Once or twice a day. So I have quite the stack here, right? And that's okay. They're not very intense compounds, any one of them alone, but I mean, Vilon and Epitalon are peptides. ACD&I, NSI are neurogenic, sort of Alzheimer's drugs. So I mean, these are real drugs that are like light in, you know, very, very light in side effects and negative effect profiles. So they're safe. They're relatively safe drugs. And then we got some peptides. So I'm not expecting any like crazy interactions or anything like that. Um, and one more. I mean, if I do have something, I'm probably not going to notice it if there's some like weird interaction, but mostly these are having to do with like melatonin and DNA synthesis and structural support of your DNA, and they shouldn't really interact with these neurogenic drugs, which are ACDNS, are like TRKB compounds. So TRKB and agonists are going to trigger the receptor, and that is going to be um, what causes growth in the brain cells, right? So that's great. We want that. That's why we have it. But it can cause like nerve sensitivity and things like that. So easily can be worsening the toe numbness issue. And right, the toe numbness as a problem by itself is not like a big deal. But obviously, if I can just like um take a signal and be like, all right, I'm taking too much ACD and that's making my toes numb, and you know, I loosen the pedal on that and kind of pull back the dose on that, and it fixes, then it's awesome. That's great. That's what all I'm looking for here. That's all we want, right? Because you're always trying to find the perfect dose whenever you have a compound or a substance or anything like that. So, and these do have drug accumulation properties. So when you have drug accumulation, right, what happens, right? You take 10 milligrams, but over, you know, towards the end of the week, that's actually 17 milligrams that you're taking into your blood because it doesn't completely break down every single day with a 20-hour half-life. So what that means is like 20 hours is almost a day. So, in almost a day, it's half the supplement or substances left in your blood. And so that means when I take 10 milligrams, that's going to be about, I think, I'm blanking here, but there's going to be like three left or something. There's going to be like 3 milligrams left or 5 milligrams left, basically. Yeah, five. Yeah, it's half life, right? So there's going to be like 5 or 4 milligrams left from the previous day because it doesn't come straight out of your body instantly, right? That's the whole idea. So most people know how that works. Um, so what I'm actually doing is taking NSI and ACD in half doses. But with drug accumulation, they're gonna build up to in my blood to what is a normal dose anyway, because they break down very slowly and it's gonna stack up every day that you take more. So NSI, I'm only taking 10 milligrams, but it's gonna stack up to 17 milligrams, and ACD is gonna stack up to, no, actually, that was for ACD. Is only 10 milligrams, so it's going to stack up to 17. And NSI is actually 40 milligram dose usually used, but it's going to stack up over time, over the week, and it's going to be like 34 milligrams in my blood um, from just taking 20 milligrams, right? So I'm saying a little confusingly, but I'm taking 20 milligrams. I take it for a couple days, and then my body ends up holding 34 milligrams because it doesn't break down so much. So that's how that goes. And so the dose could be too high, right? I am taking a half dose, but it could be too high. And so I guess that's it. That's all I'm wondering. It has been Villon Epitalon. I'm actually also taking Lemiramen. So 50 milligram. And that's the recommended dose. And that's cool. And what does that do? Increase lifespan. Clear out Alzheimer's plaque, brain cells, amyloid beta. Yeah, so excuse me, but yeah, so that one's cool too. So these ones are the neurogenic compounds. The neurogenic friends helping my brain grow. And then this will clear out some of the nasty stuff that's left over when you damage some brain cells, right? So when you get a concussion, damage some brain cells, or get old, have old brain cells building up in your head, what you have is spinal fluid, usually draining that stuff out, and you have autophagy and some mitochondrial functions working hard to break down old cells and clear them out of the system, which is extremely important because all sorts of things happen, right? So if you don't break down the old cells, you get, a cell here where there should be, if you have good cells, you have G G G G B G G B B G G G. So this is like an old person, and you have the bad brain cells, and these are all the good brain cells. So G for good, B for bad. And then what happens here? You can't grow new brain cells because you have the bad brain cells in the way. So structurally, that's a simple way of putting it. Right? And that's not exactly how it works perfectly, but it's a simple enough explanation. You can have these beta amyloids taking up space in your brain. Meanwhile, there's nothing going on with them. They're just liabilities. They're just stifling new growth. Even if you do have the ability to grow new cells, which is horrible. So, what else do I have? So I went over a couple of things, which are, the main rationale and reasonings behind this drug combination. And I'm going to be taking testosterone soon, so that's interesting. I'm going to be bodybuilding, getting into the gym soon. Hopefully tomorrow, actually. Actually, no. Well, I have to get my permit one day and then probably take the road test the next day. So it's going to take 2 days whenever I go to do that. And I'm studying that. So, yeah. So I'll be going to the gym and seeing seeing if I get like some nerve growth, if I get like some extra strength out of all this. I'm obviously going to get very strong anyway because I'm taking testosterone, but um, either way, I think these compounds will help in the gym. I do. The neurogenic compounds, they affect your nerves all throughout your body, and those nerves are driving the electricity to activate your muscles, right? So it's pretty simple to see. If you know that, then you know, if someone damages their nerves, then they can't drive the electricity through the muscle, through their brain and down to the muscle. So, and that causes like paralysis and all sorts of problems. So you can see the reverse and how that works too. But anyway, I guess I'll wrap it up here. I'm getting kind of tired. Um, these compounds are making me a little tired. I feel that. I don't know why. I think Vilon, Nebutalon, um, let me make a note here. Vilon, Talon may be making me tired. Right? Very real possibility. They control melatonin receptors in the brain and everything. Um, so let's see. Let's just ask real quick. Get a quick refresher on how this can work. I'm also taking mushrooms, turkey tail, shiitake, all these really good immune system type mushrooms to kill a virus off. I have a virus, um, which I could talk about sometime, but that's a longer story. Peptide impact, yeah. It's a thymic bioregulator. You don't hear that every day. Binds directly to chromatin, and I don't know what that means, but that sounds good. So I'm gonna have a lot of natural killer cells. Oh, HPV virus, right? Pretty obvious to see that. Tone numbness interaction stimulates protein synthesis. Growth associated protein 43. Master protein required for axonal sprouting and remodeling of nerve growth. Okay. This could mean that tone numbness is indeed neural remodeling event from your stack. Epitalon fuels that. So I guess it's suggesting that it could be epitalon mixing with all the stuff. So basically, my nerves are growing at like such a fast rate in this nootropic cycle, is what this is saying, that it can cause sensitivity and some bullshit side effects, I guess. But it also means it's working, so it's good and bad, you know. What to look for? If I skip NSI and ACD, which is the plan for tomorrow, right? I'm gonna skip the dose and wait throughout the day to see if the numbness goes away. Then it means that TRK activation was overwhelming the nerves, which means I can just ramp the dose down and it will fix things. So that's good. That's what I'm looking for. Um, so I guess there can be another side effect where it feels tingling or electric or vibrating, which is a little bit scary. But it means the epigenetic repair machinery is still actively rebuilding nerve endings that were damaged or desensitized. The whole idea, these crazy explanations, tell you the specific, terminology and wording for all this, and what receptor it has to do with, and that's useful to know what I'm talking about, right? So ChatGPT is good for that, but the whole idea that it's hinting on is that the compounds are working so well and the nerves are growing so well that at the end of the day, it's going to cause some sensitivity because, like when you're a kid, you're growing nerves, you're growing your body. The nerves can be sensitive and tingly and feeling funny. And so that's the whole idea that they're getting at. And am I going to believe that or not believe it? That's your choice if you ask ChatGPT about something like that. But I just, like I said, it's just to pull up the information that I basically already know. Um, and so, yeah, that's it. And just to derive some, work out your ideas and derive some inspiration from that. So that's all it's for. I'm gonna upload this video real quick, and 20 minutes seems like a good cutoff for talking about like really complicated topic like this. Not super complicated, but something that is interesting enough and requires some explanation without rushing through everything. So yeah, I feel like 20 minutes is a great time span for that, and I'll get back to it tomorrow and see where we're at. Hopefully, I can build up on these ideas, stack them on top of each other and kind of have, it's about the journey, but also have a clear destination with all this logging and journaling and documenting of the effects. I'll get everything narrowed down to have a perfect stack sometime. So that's the whole idea. You know, I'd be happy if someone enjoyed this video, enjoyed these ideas. So drop a like, subscribe, whatever, guys, if you would like. And without further ado, I'll peace out on that.